From France with Love and Flower. In the quiet village of Lviv, where church bells once rang louder than sirens, mornings had changed. The war had made everything uncertain, sleep, safety, even bread. But every dawn, before the sky softened from charcoal to blue, the ovens inside a small bakery flickered to life. The bakery belonged to a Frenchman named Julien Moreau. He had come from Lyon, a place famous for food and warm kitchens, not war. Back home, his family had baked bread for 3 generations. He used to say flour was in his blood. When the invasion of Ukraine began, Julien watched from his apartment in Paris. He saw the fear in people's faces on television, mothers holding children, old men clutching plastic bags, long lines outside grocery stores. What stayed with him most were the empty bakery shelves. Bread, his grandmother used to tell him, is hope you can hold. 2 weeks later, Julien packed his knives, his sourdough starter, wrapped like a treasure, and boarded a van headed east. He didn't come alone. Marc, a retired baker from Marseille, joined him. So did Etienne, barely 23, who had never left France before. They drove across borders with sacks of flour donated by neighbors, small bakeries and strangers who pressed money into their hands, saying, "For the people." When they arrived in Lviv, the air smelled of smoke and diesel. The local community center offered them an unused kitchen. The ovens were old, uneven, temperamental, but they worked. On the first morning, they baked 200 loaves. They placed them on long wooden tables outside. A handwritten sign in Ukrainian and French read, "Free bread from France with love." At first, people approached cautiously. Nothing was free anymore. Nothing was certain. But when an elderly woman with trembling hands tore a piece from a loaf and steam rose into the cold air, she began to cry. It tasted like before. By the 3rd week, they were baking 800 loaves a day. Volunteers joined, teenagers, grandmothers, former office workers. Someone brought sunflower seeds. Someone else brought honey. A little girl drew blue and yellow hearts on their flour sacks. Julien learned enough Ukrainian to say, "Take 2 for tomorrow." One afternoon, during an air raid siren, the bakery did not close. Instead, people crowded inside. While the world outside howled, Julien kept kneading dough. "Why do you stay?" a young man once asked him. "You are not Ukrainian." Julien wiped flour from his beard and smiled softly. "In France, we say bread is life. If life is here, I stay here." Months passed. The men from France grew thinner, more tired, but also more rooted. The bakery became more than a place for food. It became a place where soldiers hugged their mothers goodbye, where children laughed again, where strangers spoke without fear. They never asked for payment. When international journalists tried to interview them, Julien refused the spotlight. "We are not heroes," he insisted. "We are bakers." And so, in a small corner of Lviv, while headlines spoke of missiles and borders, 3 French men measured flour, water, salt, and yeast. They measured hope. And every sunrise, as the ovens glowed against the dark, the scent of warm bread drifted through the streets of Ukraine, whispering that even in war, kindness could rise.